Where's the clicker?
Don't go through it yet.
Okay.
You don't plan on changing anything.
Why? Wouldn't be me that wants to change anything. It would be other people. It'd drive me nuts. Why?
Okay, no, because we're gonna have to replace it and so on. Any problems that happen when they want to change it 5 minutes before we start, like usual.
Well, that's the usual.
Hopefully, it doesn't happen.
Once you get into the more,
Looks better than before, but you can still see the little curve.
yeah, that was the change. At least the pictures told the story.
Oh, is that what you guys are talking about, the fuzz?
Yeah.
She's online.
Yeah.
I'm also recording because
Is it printing?
Huh?
Is it printing?
It's printing.
It is.
Did you have to add more stuff? Or you just adding to it?
I had to add the events to this, but I already did. So everything's all done. I just need to get those decks.
It's printing. I'm gonna go get next one.
Just so that you know what's going to
Yeah, if you want, maybe I was gonna but we know how, I know what does that mean, 40-35? You take this off and put something else in. Okay? I just put it in your day, it's probably, that's just. Really nice, right? Same job. Because.
So how about that yearly
So really quickly, since she has a year to do it again.
And make it insert it. No. Well, you have to embed it in the PowerPoint. I know. It's not like, okay, I want to say it's separate from. So the video's not, so it's not, recording. So is anyone who knows and here from IT to be in that in case something happens? I'm gonna monitor the blue jeans. I understand, like, someone should have been here. Okay, that's fine. I was wondering if someone can do that.
You should have done it.
Yeah, you should. Okay, I'm gonna do it right now. That's fine. We tried the final version.
Because I'm recording it too. So it's gonna be separate. It's gonna be lower.
You have to actually move it, switch it up, and make it.
There's people online.
So get the buckets, get the finger, and the one. Yeah. Actually, see it. I just have it there. Oh, that's so nice. Sorry.
Yeah, original file.
How are you?
Go out and get it. Or if you wait for the store at the corner to get it, and it's quicker to do that, that's fine. Yeah.
What's your name? I'm Nadia. Nice to meet you. And what company? First.
Let's see here.
So like when he goes to the end, how do I get to the beginning?
All you gotta do is
Oh, it has to be from there? Okay.
boom. There's that. When you add a new slide, where is it? Let's see, actually. It's either going to be in slideshow, I think, when there's a video. It's going to say,
I'm gonna get Steve, I'm not gonna remember it. It doesn't work.
okay, well,
I'm gonna grab him.
alright, that's fine. Take it.
I'm gonna grab him once they're ready.
Is it going to be like a Q&A thing, or
No, just, it's really just a review of what's been happening.
just a
For
people
the
that
year
find
here,
talking?
and they're just talking.
Okay, that's fine. Good.
half an hour for the video? Or no, I just wanna know what you need to do before it starts.
There's no way there's gonna be able to be a half hour. The meeting's only an hour long.
Okay.
Did she know how long the video should be from before?
No, the video, the length is fine,
Oh.
but there's one part that yesterday.
One second, let me get
That has not been taken out. And replaced by something else. So right now it's 3:30. And what time when is the video being shown?
The reason why it has to get turned out is only because I have to embed it in the PowerPoint. And we can't like cut everyone. Now we're just gonna like do some work and try to put the video in. You have to test it and make sure it works. So if that has, I suggest you just leave it as is.
Okay.
Just let y'all know that in the section we're gonna edit.
Okay.
Just because there's no time now. We wouldn't have the time to put it at the end.
Do we have?
I was also asking them if it can be just separate, if you just didn't embed it and then just like kind of just played it separately from everything.
Right.
You can't do that either.
Why?
Because I guess they said the transition, it would come up different, it's gonna be weird.
Really?
That's what they said to me, because that's what I asked them, because I said, if the video wasn't done, is worst comes to worst, can we play it? Like, can we just basically say, okay, the video,
Yeah,
and
click
switch
off
it
and
off?
then click it,
Exactly.
click it in.
But
Let
he
me
said
ask
no,
one more
you
time
can-
to
yeah,
David.
Mhm.
Is it possible, is there any way that we can do video separately? Because there might be something that needs to change. And I know that, Nadia wants to upload right away our presentation. And the purpose of getting it right now would be because you're that video. But is it possible to like do the PowerPoint and then do the video from the up? Or we can't do that? Like basically coming from two different.
You can switch it over,
Okay.
but, if there's people who are dialing in, they will not be able to see it. They might not be able to hear it as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Recording as well, will also.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, can we do this? If I give her the file that she has right now, and then if we have time to re-upload before the end, we will, and if not, we won't, or that just can't happen?
I just don't think that's I don't think that's a good option, just
Okay.
because of what, they won't be able to see any, it just won't be good.
Okay.
Because there's tons of people dialing in.
Okay.
Even more than 5 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
we'll just.
I just don't want to take that chance.
Okay.
Just like help them know that
Yes.
that's more.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
All right.
If that's the option you want to do, it's not really.
But the thing is, if they can't see it, I think I would rather have it in the video and everybody see it than. Yeah. All right, but thank you.
Sure, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know. One of them got case we could.
And is my book recording? This is. They are. Oh, we got it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Trying to teach you
said that he's not the street player, and then they say, you say this, and they say, okay, they're doing that, and he's going to find success and try to find something. I just have no idea. I don't know, you gotta know that. What does he do? Okay. But you don't, you're. Wow, that's good. We'll have to upgrade the food.
Hi,
Mark Raffin.
Mark.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Guys are that girl. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you come here to pass your building? Did you do the hair chocolate?
It goes the other way, Michael. When they come here, we're supposed to give them their job.
The rain chocolate spirit. I love that. It's pretty
Mark
good.
Raffin. Mark,
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. And you're gonna be on our main stage at Green Bay? You know that? What? Who's Pete? What's up, Pete? Andy. Andy is speaking.
Oh, I was in the Where is he speaking?
Everything is in March of 20something.
Really nice.
He's
He didn't let me know
keynoting.
that I spoke to
He's keynoting. But have you seen our video of him? You can't?
No,
Right there.
Yep, I got a bottle of water.
Yeah, they.
Yeah. Hey, God, how are you? How you doing? Good. How was your vacation?
Okay, sorry, I missed it.
I know, we missed you there. Yes. Party. It's been an interesting couple of days.
I can't even believe it, yeah. How are you doing?
Hey, how you
Nice to
doing?
see you.
Good
How's
to
it
see
going?
you.
I can't, we were just talking about you. I'm not kidding.
I was thinking of you like yesterday.
Because I great employee researcher. Sarah, Greg, Sarah, the whole crew was just over our place.
Yeah.
She gave me a new pen. And I said, record her these things, because it's got no worry, it's not a good premium. And she said, how do you know? Oh, yes, okay. And,
That's too funny.
so, yeah, so 3 years ago, and she's actually, it's not really, that's, 3
Oh,
years
it's
ago.
those pens say MRI on them?
Yeah, my hospital.
Oh, yeah, there's.
I was like, why don't you give us some? You know, I do it maybe at the bank, right? You know,
Yeah,
the bank, you know, we could, other people would know, but.
I'll make sure we get you some.
I'm not staying up at night worried. So it's good, it's good to get this Saturday, I mean, not all the good people.
Oh, cool.
You know, are you on mic or next time that you were in, you're on vacation this week, so.
Yes, it's kind of weird now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Every given week there's.
Next week, I'm out, I'll be around next week,
Yeah.
it's like, it was the week after.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking, I was remembering, A&A Masters. Are you going this year?
I don't know. It's almost like it's not too big.
Yeah, you have a smaller.
Yeah, I feel like there's also a multicultural market, it's like a week before.
Yeah,
I'm not-
there's, we have, martial research event, literally the exact same time.
It's at the same time, I wasn't sure.
So we're
Is
gonna
it
go,
natural or?
it's in Boca, so we're gonna take it at Boca, and we're gonna drive over to, or ANX.
Good. They must not be selling it.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
I'm Nadia, I just
Nice
want
to
to
meet you.
introduce myself.
How are you?
Good. Oh, of course, I was like, wait, let me figure this out.
I can hear what
No, but I can even right now if you want, that's what I was gonna ask you. You do think you're gonna do that? Yeah.
Depending on what I hear, it's a bit.
I think the only ones that are like a little, like the little crash out. Yeah, just say crash out, yeah, that's fine. These are pretty selfish.
That's good.
Everyone else is pretty good.
How long have you been here?
Yeah. Fairly new, but still a little weather.
That's good.
So let me know if you have any questions.
And by any chance?
That's what I do. I'm gonna see. Yeah, no, we have time.
Hi, how are you? Gail Fugit. Yeah, so nice to see you. Yes, our little ones in your lap. Great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Pleasure.
Good, really good. It's always a little strange to present behind you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a video this year, right?
Pardon?
Is there a video this year?
Always.
I like but I like the new
Because
course.
the pitching, right?
Yeah.
Learning a lot of people.
This is really nice.
Eyes for walking ahead. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, so much nicer than the other.
I think so, yeah. I like how they're like on the side of the operation just working.
Yeah,
It's kind of like
right?
a distraction
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yes, yeah,
This is nice.
yeah. Thank you. Great, you ready?
Sure.
So what, you married trucks that I actually.
July plus 10.
Okay, that's it, Frank, short comments. Show. Okay, show. She's not allowed to read. Never. So. More sort of general.
Yeah, no, I know.
Wait, you did say so. Let's see what it goes.
I know. So you have to explain
So Mark wanted to pass on Kelly Washington. And so we went up and out in Illinois and Tom's not called. He says, so you get that engineer in the series. Typical practice, doesn't do anything. Somebody else can have them do that. So I just told him, tell me I thought, say anything else like that again. Right upstairs.
6 months.
Totally unprofessional. I'm done. Absolutely done. Can't do it. It's over. Over. Is that everybody doing?
Oh, you did? You did the music?
Nice to see you.
Well, I think it's such
So these are not assigned, just the people don't like the front row. Can you just, hold on, I'm just gonna run over this way. Oh, wait.
You want me to touch that?
Don't play it here. You should have. Okay, just press play for 2 seconds.
So you turn the
Sound? It should be.
I think you're.
No, I heard
Now it's done.
It's a pity you're not in.
Huh?
It's a pity you're not.
Do you think it's a pity? I'll bet you get high marks for not having it in there.
Okay, here you guys go. Hi, David. Hi. How are you? I guess whoever needs to figure out the
Yeah, okay. I'll
Yeah,
start off
exactly,
by doing
exactly.
something.
And just so that you know what's in your folder, you have to
Sure.
pay attention to this.
Yeah.
So you guys want to start?
Everyone needs to get
Yeah, okay.
just to
It's
go over.
4:01. I'm gonna get everyone.
Give it a 2-minute warning, yeah.
Okay.
Just shows like the order.
Yeah.
What's the minutes and that's the dash.
This is.
Yeah, you wanna go through
Just
it?
make sure it tracks what I've got. Yeah. Okay.
Good? Perfect.
Thank you. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you too. Oh, better than last year.
Yeah, you got a lot of notes there.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gonna go off the cuff or?
Oh, this kind of.
Yeah.
Written in the vernacular. They're in the colloquial.
Getting Gawker, no teleprompter.
No teleprompter. No, sir.
Tentatively, yes.
Oh, okay. I do add it there.
Oh, really?
Well, that's only fair. Like a city board because they,
Yeah.
they talk about people really trying to get.
I feel like, you know what, I should love
Ridiculously low amounts of money.
Yes.
And I feel,
And you know, we have.
Why, because they're very wrong by like.
well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was, I think it was aspirational, small web apps that were rumoring that they were going to Gawker.
Like, the bigger,
Evaluating, well, if it's bankrupt, how much it's gonna cost? Well, it cost as much as somebody
You
with
ready?
a lot
You
more
find
money
your
than you is gonna pay.
You guys got what you need?
we're good?
Okay, scripts,
Yes. Pressure is mounting.
scripts, gavels,
Yes.
drinks.
Yep.
It's the mom coming out at me. Yeah, you're gonna get yours out.
This is a crowd here.
Yeah, supposed to have 70. We
Do we have 70 shares?
No, we never set for the number of people that come because we always have suspicious.
Of course, yes.
Set 50 shares,
Yeah.
70.
Yeah, it's summer.
But we obviously could have set 70. I think we got some soccer.
Well, now we know why we ordered all those chairs.
Once a year.
There you go. They're rented yourself.
Exactly.
They're rent a center.
Okay, here. Did you get the clicker first?
Someone offered me a book behind him.
There's a bunch of chairs up front.
Yeah.
Brad, come on down.
There's chairs up front.
My last name starting with A.
Hey, Brad. James on here. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. As the chair of the ARF Board of Directors, I'm bringing the meeting to order at not quite 4 p.m., it's a little after 4, 4:05 p.m. to be official. I'd like to welcome everyone to the ARF annual member meeting. Thank you all for coming to this annual event, where a recap of the previous year and future plans for the upcoming year will be shared with you all. Now, these slides, I have to make sure that.
I know, right?
Okay. Well, I think you tell me if I'm on the right.
All right, I will.
Okay. We'll first got to go through the agenda, which includes financials, membership, and partnership updates, a board report, and a report from our president. The first order of business includes an approval of the minutes of last year's annual meeting. I call for a motion to approve the minutes. Thank you. Please, this is a participation experiment, guys. You don't get to sit there. Okay? Do I hear a second? All right. Okay.
You've sitting up front. So you might as well second.
Okay. Everyone in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we got over that hurdle. The minutes are approved. Now I'd like to turn it over to Thomas Higgins, the Chief Financial Officer of the ARF, who will give the financial report.
Thank you, David. Thanks for the opportunity to present this financial report on ARF's finances for 2015. I think on balance, 2015 was a very good, very busy year. We were pretty much all over the country presenting at a variety of conferences, events, workshops, most notably on the work that we recently completed, the Ground Truth Experiments work, How Advertising Works Today, that was unveiled at the Rethink 2016 conference. And that's something we're all very proud of, and it's been viewed as and remarked as being the most important research done in this industry in the past 35 years. And I think it's something we're all very proud of. One other initiative that was pretty much in the planning stages during 2015 ends up being executed in 2016, and that's the space you're sitting in right now. It's a little bit different than the 6th floor. We were upstairs, a little cleaner, a little bit more light, and so on and so forth. And we're all very proud of it. And it's really helped to create a nice atmosphere here for the folks that do ARF's work every day. Now onto the numbers, which, by the way, were audited by the esteemed accounting firm Fried Maxick from beautiful Buffalo, New York. They expressed a clean opinion on our financial statements. That is to say, after all of the caveats that are found in auditors' opinions these days, that our financial statements were fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles in all material respects. And we've enjoyed clean opinions on the financials for a number of years. And I think it speaks well to the governance practices that we have here at the ARF out for our finances. Turning to the balance sheet. First, now we'll get to the numbering part. Balance sheet, just shown a couple of key components of the balance sheet. One's cash and investments, the other net assets. And you see that we've got a fairly strong balance sheet here, and we've strengthened the balance sheet year over year by growing our cash and investment balances by over 8.5% or about 8.5% to just under $5 million. The investment portfolio portion of is comprised of about $3.5 million, and it's invested principally in fixed income securities in accordance with our investment policy. This provided us with a bit higher yield in terms of interest income, but also because of the favorable interest rate environment we've all been experiencing, the bond market has felt that as well, and it actually has resulted in appreciation of value of that portfolio. So the policy seems to be working well, and we can continue to monitor that. But
right now it's serving the purposes very well. The balance sheet strength is also evidenced by the increase in our net asset balances to approximately $3.2 million. Of that balance, you should know that approximately $650,000 has been designated by the Board of Trustees or Board of Directors as being available to support original research efforts. And in fact, in 2015, we did use approximately $350,000 of that board designated fund to pursue and complete the ground truth experiment work that I mentioned previously. Moving on to the income statements, one of the ways you build a healthy balance sheet is to have healthy P&L, which the ARC had in 2015. Overall, our revenues increased by 3.8% to $10.3 million, led by strong member retention and an increase in strategic sponsorship revenues. Expenditures were 3.2% lower year over year, driven largely by savings across a couple of line items, but most notably salaries, IT, and some travel. Some of the savings were driven by vacancies which will be filled, and so it's worth noting that these savings are somewhat temporary in nature. As we fill those slots, those savings will go away. The combination of higher revenues and lower expenses led to a healthy increase in net contribution margin from to $784,000 from $91,000 in 2014. It was a very strong result, and it helped play a significant role in the funding of the new office layout here on the 4th floor, and those expenditures took place principally in 2016, the early part of 2016. Now that we're 2/3 of the way through this year, and fiscal 2016, we're through 2/3 of the year. Fiscal 2016 is shaping up to be a bit more challenging on the revenue side, notwithstanding the bright spot of new member growth. Membership dues from recurring members are currently forecast to fall short of the original budget by about 4.5%. And for new member growth, the original target of $450,000 is forecast to come in at $500,000. And actually, we've achieved that as of today. We're at the $500,000 mark. And so there is a bit more upside as we complete the rest of the year. Registration revenues for our major conferences fell well short of goal by about 20% overall, while sponsorship revenues for these two events, which typically have helped make up for some of the softness caused by lower ticket sales, also fell short of budget by nearly 12% at Rethink. AM sponsorship revenues actually were in excess of budget by about 7%, so that was again another bright spot. But we are, facing up to the challenges. We're reviewing expenses as almost a daily basis. We're looking at the most effective way to deliver our content and do so in a cost-effective way. And we are making those changes and strengthening or putting ourselves in a position to have a strong 2017. Okay, with that, I will turn it over to Michael Heitner to talk about membership.
Great. Thank you, Tom. So I'm Michael Heitner. Most of you probably know me, or if you don't know me, you probably got emails from me. So the first slide here is called the ARF Network, and I just wanted, before I even begin talking about this, I want to thank all of you, because as being in charge of membership, if it wasn't for you and your dues and your contributions to the ARF, we wouldn't be here, so thank you very much. This slide shows we have 5 core constituencies: advertisers, agencies, media companies, research companies, and research suppliers, and ad tech. So the ad tech category is a new category for us that we added this year. It's a growth category, and we've gotten a lot of members from that category involved with the ARF. We have 400 corporate members. This is just a sampling of some of the members. This slide will show you the breakdown of the constituency. And it's often a question that we're asked in membership is sort of how many members are in each category. So you'll see here research is the highest category, followed by marketers and media. But it's a relatively balanced split. Also, people always ask what other means. That would be categories including consultants, associations, and the academic community. In looking at the retention, as Tom had mentioned, our number's a little bit off this year. We're monitoring it and managing it really closely to make sure the engagements stay strong and get stronger. Most of the reason behind this year has just been the mix. We've had a couple of larger members that did renew their membership, but we're working towards continuing to engage and connect with our member base. On good news, we've had several members that had resigned in the past and renewed this year, so we want to thank them. These are some of them. And that also contributes to Kelly's effort, who handles our new business. Kelly, wave to us. And I'm going to also cover her slide for new business development for this year. And as Tom had mentioned, we actually reached our goal today for the year, so we're in really good shape with that. And anything that comes in now through the end of the year will be great support for us. What's interesting about this slide to note is that the advertiser category, which is obviously a really important category to the ARF, has been really strong in bringing in new membership. And we welcome all of the new members here. I'm sure some of you are here in the audience. All right, and at this point, I'm going to turn over to Mark Rappin, who heads up sponsorship and partnerships. Here you go, Mark.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Michael, many of you probably have heard me or gotten emails from me asking you for money. You know, just to kind of level set, I thought we'd start with kind of what the role of sponsorship is in this organization is, because we're primarily a member-based organization. So from a sponsorship standpoint, really look at it as just a way to provide some additional revenue to try to offset some of the costs of the things that we do that provide the value back to your members. And then for the people that do get involved with sponsorship, we do try to create opportunities where they could get lead generation from their content. I think the important thing about us being a member organization and are focused on getting sort of the latest, greatest content out to you is with sponsorship, unlike some organizations that are for-profit organizations, they'll literally take a sponsor from anywhere. We really look at the content of the sponsor, what the sponsor's presenting, and we vet that as well. So we don't just take sponsors because you have the money. We try to move away from pay for play and make sure that whenever we're getting sponsor input, it's adding to the value of the event and the program for all the members that are there. From the sponsor side, what's in it for them is hopefully we've created events that get a lot of people that are involved, and so there's an opportunity for business value and return on investment for them. Gives them a chance to have presence and showcase their work in front of the industry. And also we look for help. A lot of what we do is to try to lift up the next generation and move the industry with our Young Pros program, analytics program, leadership lab programs, and things like that. And in order to make those things happen, they need support as well. From a financial standpoint, specifically what we're trying to do, as Tom mentioned, for the two big conferences, audience measurement and Rethink, we're actually trying to sell enough sponsorship where we're actually going a little above the cost and helping to drive the margin for those events. For all of our regional events and our other programming, we're just really looking to kind of pay for the beer and wine that's out there and minimally cover some of the hard expenses of the costs. And the other thing is, Michael talked about new members. You know, sometimes new members find out about us from attending events. Sometimes new members it's a way for them to get their trial, get their feet in the door. And so Kelly and I work together. If there's an opportunity for somebody who wants to sponsor before they're members, we'll let them do that and give them a feel for how our events and things work. Just building off Tom's numbers from a financial standpoint, as you can see, we've had relatively significant growth in revenue. This year we've leveled off a bit. The reasons for that are a couple-fold. Number one is back in 2014, you know, at the start when Gail joined, we really kind of changed the business model for sponsorship so that we were actually presenting our sponsorship plans up front And not surprisingly, for those of you who work in organizations that have annual budgets, being able to talk about a full year in advance was a big change for the organization. And we've seen the benefits of that. This year, we're off about 10% from the height. Last year was the highest level. The areas for that, as Tom talked about in Rethink, we have sponsorships that are part of the main stage and content, if you're familiar with the event. We also have kind of a trade show aspect that we call the Insight Zone. And pretty much for Rethink and through a number of years, sort of the trade show aspect of our industry has been declining, and that's where those shortfalls are. The other area where there are shortfalls for this year, but not too late to get on board for 2017, are in those looking at next generation things. So from a sponsorship standpoint, when you look at things like the training for the Leadership Lab or Women in Analytics or Young Pros, there's less of a direct correlation to making that investment and getting an immediate business return. And in the environment we all live in, that's harder today than it usually is. But all in all, as you can see, at $1,925,000 for this year, we should come in with a strong level of sponsorship where we were historically, and meet our financial objectives of helping to offset the costs of providing member value programs. And with that, I'll turn it back to David. David, do you want me to put slides for you?
That's okay. I just was hitting too center. So I'll now give the board report, which is going to include the election of new directors, term extensions for current members, and continuing directors and retiring directors. First, I'd like to recognize and thank our 2015-2016 Executive Committee for the phenomenal year of service, and this includes, as the slide shows, myself, thanking myself, that's nice of me, Debbie Pruitt, who served as Finance Chair, Kate Serkin, who served as the agency seat representative, Artie Bulgren, who served as the media seat representative, Colleen Fahey-Rush, who served as past chair, Stan Yonathan, I hope I pronounced his name wrong, but I always, is that pretty good? Okay, good. Stan, who served as the advertiser seat representative, George Terhanian, who served as the research seat representative, and Jed Meyer, who served as secretary. Moving on to new board of director nominees, they include John Waltauer, Pierre Lamont, Carlos Jose Fonseca, Alan Wurtzel, Britta Cleveland, and Richard Thorogood. Good. Continuing on, Jeff Dowd, Serge Matta, Stephen Rosenblatt, David Karachek, Stephen Chase, and Bob Pearson. And the following persons to serve on the board of directors of the organization as the ARF Young Pro representative. Teresa, again? Win? Oh. Moving on to the re-election of current members to another term. We have Lori Hilt and Dave Morgan in that category. And then re-election of current members to elected official seats. Jed Meyer, board chair. David Poltrak, past chair. George Terhanian, finance chair. Bob Muir, secretary, and Jeffrey Graham, media representative. And also at this time, like to thank retiring directors for the years of service on the ARF Board of Directors, and those retiring directors are Colleen Fahey Rush and Jeffrey Buchan. Debbie Truant, Colin Mitchell, and Jim Dravelis. I want to thank the following directors for serving on the ARF Board 2015 and 16. Cheryl Main, Robert Atenzio, Stephen Wolf Carrera, Natasha Hershik, Majid Abraham, Bruce Gorlick, Pat LaPointe, Pat, Gunnar Johnson, Diane Heilber, and Andrew Norton. Continuing directors include Andrew Appel, Artie Bulgren, Jane Clark, Brandon Cook, and Andy Fisher. Gail Fugit, Steve Hasker, George Ivey, Bob Leodis, Jed Meyer, Wenda Milliard Harris, Barb Muir, Mary Ann Pacco, Dave Poltrack again, coming up, Howard Schimmel, Kirsty Singh, and Kate Durkin, Brad Smallwood, Dan Stamanathan, Radha Subramaniam, George Turhanian, boy, you put all those in right in a row, right? Bill Tucker, and John Vane. I'm now going to invite Matthew Kane, Associate Reed Smith, and our Board of Directors legal representatives to join me for the resolution to elect new directors.
Thank you. All right, so now I'll read the resolutions to elect new directors. In accordance with Section 603 and 703 of the Not-for-Profit Corporation Laws of the State of New York and the bylaws of the Advertising Research Foundation of New York Not-for-Profit Corporation, the following resolutions are to be voted upon by the members of the organization in attendance at the present annual membership meeting of the organization on the 17th day of August 2015 in New York City, 2016. Resolution 1, the election of the directors. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Executive Committee of the organization, the following persons to serve on the Board of Directors of the organization until they resign, their 3-year term expires, they or their respective employers cease to be members of the organization or are otherwise terminated in accordance with the bylaws of the organization. Don Wathauer, Pierre Lamont, Carlos Jose Fonseca, Alan Wurtzel, Britta Cleveland, Richard Thorgood, Jeff Dowd, Serge Matta, Stephen Rosenblatt, David Krychek, Stephen Chase, Bob Pearson, and the following person to serve on the Board of Directors of the organization as an ARF Young Pro representative until they resign, their 1-year term expires, they or their respective employers cease to be members of the organization or are otherwise terminated in accordance with the bylaws of the organization. Teresa Wynn. Second resolution, the re-election of terms of office of certain directors. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Executive Committee, the terms of office of the following currently serving directors of the organization are extended for a period of 3 years commencing from the expiration of their current terms. Lori Hiltz and David Morgan. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Executive Committee, the terms of office of the following currently serving directors of the organization are extended for a period of 2 years commencing from the expiration of their current terms. Jed Meyer, David Poltrack, George Tarkanian, Barb Murr, and Jeffrey Graham. That's it. Back to you.
So I'd now like to call for a vote to approve the election of new directors and the re-election of continuing directors. By a show of hands and a yay vote, we will take the vote. So please, those in favor of electing all these people, say yes and raise your hand. You have to do both. I'm not exactly sure why you have to do both. Okay.
Maybe for the people on the phone.
Okay, now that goes to my, we have to.
You need that clicker back.
We're
But
on 33.
Okay, so this comes to the, with the formalities out of the way, I would like to now just have a few parting words about as I am stepping down from the board chair. 2 years ago, in my opening remarks as chairman of the ARF at this annual meeting, I acknowledged the great work of my successor, Colleen Fahey Rush, and the then newly appointed president of the ARF, Dale Fuchs, in repositioning the ARF to assure its relevance in the new digital world. I stated that with Gail at the helm, the ARF had already been established as a center for informed discussion, debate, and innovation in this new advertising era. I urge the members of ARF from all sectors, research companies, media companies, advertising agencies, and advertisers to join Gail in this exciting transformation of the ARF. Today, as I prepare to pass the chairman's gavel to Jed, I'm pleased to report that you collectively heeded that call. Today's ARF is a critically important part of the advertising and media ecosystem, thanks to the active participation of the members of all phases of the foundation. None of this would have been possible without the inspired leadership of Gail Ugin. Gail's combination of passion for the research profession and the ARF, brilliance as a practitioner in the field of market research, and indefatigable exuberance in meeting the challenges of her job have been an inspiration to all of us that have made it a pleasure for me to work with her. 3 years ago, when the search committee approached Gail about postponing her planned post-General Mills agenda to take on the formidable responsibilities of leading the ARF, we recognized just how big a commitment we were asking of her. We knew that eventually she would want to get back to addressing her bucket list. Gail has accomplished so much in these 3 years that it's hard to realize that she's only been here for 3 years. However, the 3 years of her contract have passed, and she's elected to move on to the next life stage that she put on hold for us. Gail has graciously agreed to stay on through October to provide for a seamless transition for the ARF. On behalf of the ARF, I would like to thank Gail for her vision, her leadership, and her hard work on behalf of us all. On behalf of the media and advertising industries, I would like to thank Gail for the great body of work during her tenure. When Gail joined us, advertising had been losing share of the marketing budget over a 5-year period. During the last 3 years, we have seen that trend turn around, and by the end of 2016, we expect to see the share of marketing dollars going to advertising increase by 2 full points, or $25 billion. The work of the ARF under Gail's leadership, culminating in the seminal How Advertising Works study completed this year, is in no small measure responsible for that turnaround. On a personal note, on behalf of Dave Poltrak, I would like to thank Gail for the past 2 years of collaboration. These past 2 years working with Gail towards our shared goals of securing advertising preeminent position in the marketing mix and research role in the field of marketing have truly been a highlight of my career. Gail, I cannot thank you enough for that opportunity, but most of all, thank you for your friendship, which I cherish. I was privileged to have served as the chairman of this organization 25 years ago. I was even more privileged to serve in that role again during the past 2 years. Based on that pattern, I will see you again in 2041. I'll close by saying thank you to Gail, Thank you to the great ARF staff, to my fellow members of the executive committee, and to all of you, the members of the ARF. It has been a wonderful 2 years for me. Now my pleasure to leave you in the capable hands of Jed Myers, the new chairman of the ARF.
So that's a hard act to follow, but I am going to follow it with a president's report, and then I love to make my mark at events. I think many of you know that, and so I have gifts to the parting chair and the new chair. So just stay tuned for that. You know, just to reprise, I know you've seen this before. I love that it's about 60 minutes with the esteemed David Poltrak sitting next to me and as our board chair. But you know, it wasn't that long ago when you turned on the television in your living room and it was a mahogany box if you're of my generation. But now today there are 25 different ways to consume 60 minutes, too illegal. Sorry to tell you. And as David said, so we're having a mutual admiration society here. You know, David actually has been so instrumental in helping bring forward the fact that the ARF is once again become the center of intelligent discourse. This is a direct quote from him. And when he received actually the Erwin Efron Award a year ago. And so I just also want to give tribute to David for everything he's done as a board chair and to lift us up in the generation, everything that CBS has done to support the ARF, because this has been very much of, and as you mentioned, it is a grassroots initiative. And, you know, we are a not-for-profit, but it's really made up of the people and the relationships between the people. And I can't say enough good things or thank you enough for that. I was asked by, and I have been asked by, some of you in the room that are board members and some others that aren't actually in the room, why does the ARF exist? It's not uncommon in a board meeting over the last 3.5 years that someone would say, all right, what is your point of difference? And so as I depart onto my next chapter, my bucket list, and I don't know, it sounded like they were greener pastures or something floating out there. I'm anxious to find them, but I really wanted to just reinforce that over the course of 80 years, there are really 3 key pillars for this organization, and these are the things that differentiate it. We're not a trade association, and we have multiple constituents. Those are 2 fact-based distinguishing characteristics. But the first, most important, and number 1 reason that the ARF exists, and if we do not continue to provide original, objective research and curate research, then we can just pack it up and all go home, as I would say to my team. It's absolutely critical. It distinguishes the ARF. Our research, those of you that maybe go to art fairs and it's curated, they're curated. And you know that if you go to a fair where it's like curated, or if you go to an art show or an antique show, that there's like a quality bar that's set. And that's how we do it here at the ARF under the leadership of my team. And I inherited that. I'm incredibly proud of it. I believe in the objectivity of research and in being the person that is not afraid to declare the elephant in the room. I cut my teeth on it at my previous job, and I really dedicated myself to that here. Frankly, when I came and I joined from General Mills, I never heard the expression pay for play, and when I heard it a few times when I got here, I had to ask somebody, like, what does that mean? I knew it from going to events and hearing people pitch, but I didn't really understand how important distinguishing objective research, judging objective research, finding the people that were leading objective research and bringing original research to the fore at the ARF and at our events was. Second, and most important, is creating the ARF to be a network, not just a place where you get white papers and you go to the knowledge center, because that's a very passive engagement. Those are critically important, but we are a network of people. And what I discovered is that if we brought forward the most important issues, the critical, as I call them, bleeding edge issues, the ones that would maybe make our hearts beat faster, that we were afraid our bosses would ask about and we wouldn't have the answer, because I had a lot of those in my day, and still they're out there: programmatic buying, ad fraud, ad blocking. And there's a new one that we haven't heard of yet that's going to crop up
based on Moore's Law in another 2 months probably. And so those things were topics that when we brought a topic in a room, as I'd say at some of our conferences, you'd be in a room with no windows on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in New York City, and the room would be filled to the gills because people were like, I got to find out what's going on because somebody might ask me about this. That's network orchestration and getting people together because people want to connect to each other, not just to content. And then, of course, I believe in, and I was invoked by my board when I joined, and even when I was being interviewed, to geographic and regional expansion. So we opened up a West Coast chapter. We made our way around the world. We built collaborative partnerships with the ANA, the 4As, the IAB, the MRC, STEM, the CRE, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. I referred to it as alphabet soup when I first got here because I wasn't familiar with a lot of these organizations. I want to say that there is not a finer group of people than my counterparts in this industry. There is not a group of people that work harder or make a more important contribution to the industry than my counterparts, and that is only followed on closely by my staff. We have a new person that's in charge of marketing, Tusef Mirza, and she works with Cinca, who did the video that you're going to be able to see in a few minutes, and Mitch Ween, who has brought so much wonderful inspiration to our various interviews and curating content. And so what we've been able to do through the leadership of this capable marketing team and the leadership team is identify a specific brand imprint. And I think you'll recognize the values of the organization, but really these are people's values, and these are not marketing adjectives, because I worked in a marketing organization for a long time. This is what people do for each other to support each other. This is what I dreamed of in my previous job, and also here leading this organization. Has been such an honor to lead this organization. You're all familiar with the work that we've done this year. What I want to do just very briefly in a couple of slides is give a tribute to my team, because next to the people that are my industry counterparts and the leaders in the industry, none of this would happen without the people that I've been able to draw to come and work with me, to be on this crazy wild journey, to work for a not-for-profit, to be part of a team. And I'm have really, really big dreams and high aspirations and high standards. And I wanted to get a lot done. I don't know that I thought when I got here it would be, I was thinking like 3 to 5 years, which someone told me one time is a prison sentence. But I don't know how long I thought I would be here, but I knew that it wasn't going to be as long as I needed to. So we moved fast and we tried to really get a lot done. It was really important to me, and I am really passionate, which is a blessing and a curse probably. But I want you to know that not one thing up on this page would happen without my team, and I want you to give them a round of applause. Many of whom are here. Most have given up their seats because we heard we'd have 70. We almost never have as many people as say they're going to come, but I think we did today. So those that are standing are key members of also the ARF team, and you'll have a chance to drink wine with them after, as is our tradition. As we activated the network, of course, we have these events that we've held. We've created a Women in Analytics initiative. The young pros have been so important, and Michael's the one that pointed that out to me as soon as I got here. And you know, one of the things you do when you're a leader is you find the things that are working, and you first try not to break them, and then you try to build them. And so with grateful thanks to Michael for creating the young pros and his team, and Gwen and Jeremiah and that whole group of people, Zita, son Kristen, done such a beautiful job, and thank you so much for that. And you're the Women in Analytics down here at Facebook. And I just want to close by saying that we're a network. When I got here, I asked them, and this was highly trying given the state of our technology at that point in time, to create a brand and an imprint for us that was all of you. And so you should be able to find your picture here. If you don't, we can make sure we add it in. But this is the ARF. The ARF is about a network and about being people that support each other, and about being people that come together and get under functional cover. And I said that I would stay in this job until two things happened. One, people would talk about their successes and their failures, and I believe we've done that, because I believe that when we get some of these tough issues out, we talk about what's working, and we also talk about what's not working. And then the second thing is lifting up the next generation, which is the most important thing to me. And we've had over 1,000 people come to our leadership labs, and Chris Bacon has done such a beautiful job leading that work. And that takes a village. So many of you have spoken and helped with that, and so many of you have spoken at our conferences and have been so important and have been sponsors and supporters and come and made the difference. And it really is all about that. And I cannot ever thank you enough. So what I'd like to do now is I would like to create a new tradition at the ARF, which is the giving of the gifts. So you might want to put this in the job description for the search committee that that my successor will need to do the giving of the gifts at the end of at the annual business meeting. David, really the same. I would like to say the same to you. You have been kind and generous and a dear friend, and I can't thank you enough. It's written in the card. And I know you're going to love this. I collected it for you, though some of you know I'm an antique collector. This is an antique that I collected for you, so I would like you to have this.
Thank you very much.
You have to open it.
Sensitive to any antiques, since a lot of people consider me an antique. So I relate to antiques.
Well, if you don't like it, pretend that you do.
Multicolored paper is.
You got to get some ARFT on it.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Wonderful. You knew what.
Those of you that don't know, David loves the gavel.
That's right.
Every meeting he says, I love the gavel. Try it at home.
It will never work. I guarantee that.
That's why we like the gavel here, because we know.
But I made you try it on my staff. Crazy.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And Jed, thank you so much for coming on the Wild Ride. In the spirit of, I don't know how many years you've been married, you get a paper gift. David gets silver, you get paper. Those of you, I don't know how many of you all know, but Jed likes little cards that he writes notes on, or I see you have, right? Yes. All right, so I love a good craft project, and I made you some ARF cards this afternoon. So, and he'll write you notes, love notes of some kind or something like that. Thanks, Jed. And best of luck. I'm highly, highly optimistic with the board under your leadership and the transition with you and David that we're in excellent hands, and that everyone here is in excellent hands.
Thank you.
So with that, I would like to close with our tradition of, I think we need to get the lights down. Can somebody figure out how to do that? They're right up here. Just take a minute to get the lights down. We have this is our tradition, is our video, our year-end in review video. Cinca put this together. Many people helped, and you will see many people represented, notwithstanding the entire ARF staff. So. Do I have to push it again? Yeah.
The next historic piece of research about the advertising, how advertising works. The scope of the study, absolutely massive, really unprecedented, genuine ground truth this scale. We deliver or providing insights that are really actionable. We establish 5 ground truths. These research methodology. Ground truth here is advertising across platforms delivers higher ROI. Second ground truth is a kicker effective for traditional and digital media. Third ground truth for smart spending is use traditional and digital media to reach millennials. Fourth ground truth, which is around frequency. How much is too much in digital? Fifth ground truth, unified strategies for creative are the way forward. Gail's brand is a brand. We can use the neural pathways to recreate it and bring it from good to great.
Better place than the weekend conference to translate challenges into opportunities. What advertising works 2016.
The more platforms, the better.
Welcome to the session. We're going to offer you a survival kit. The challenge was, who are we? Forcing you to speak to each other. What's really needed are fearless leaders.
There is no greater honor than to be recognized by your peers.
Irwin with an E is the award I'm picking up. Irwin with an I is truly grateful. Thank you.
This is Aaron West. Showing the assignments of the stories. The level of granularity.
The pace of change. That's my career at risk.
How are we going to make it all?
Creativity, effectiveness, art, science, entrepreneurship.
As a woman, you have to continue to persevere.
Talent, price, differentiated labels. The day we thought of the idea, it had to happen.
It doesn't work. My best work I've ever done.
What can you do with it more than what it is?
Write it up. Bring it in. Tell a story.
Eric, please shut my eye.
And you teach us all about Google Analytics.
The Architects Boot Camp. Something we sort of dreamed up along with ARF.
Fearlessly facing forward, I'm here to change the world.
So now I want to introduce Jed Meyer, new board chair.
So I gotta stand because I'm coming after the video. You can bring the lights up. So I'm gonna be very brief. I'm what stands between you and drinks. I want to just start by saying thank you all for coming. It's a summer, it's a whatever it is, it's Wednesday, it's 90 degrees out. We appreciate you coming in to spend an hour with us, and we hope there's some value both from what you learned about ARF and our agenda, and a chance to meet each other and chat afterwards over drinks or whatnot. I also want to say a big thank you, Gail, for you and all your leadership and just the amazing progress that the ARF has made under your leadership. It's been really terrific to watch. And David, I want to say thank you. I didn't realize it was 25 years ago for the previous go round, but you set a very high bar from the point of view of chairing the board, and you've run great meetings. And I think your fingerprints and obviously Gail's fingerprints are all over a very strong organization. So I've got the interesting role of being the board chair as Gail walks out, which we're sad about, and she leaves a great legacy. Really what I want to convey to you is a little bit what I said to some of her staff when we had a meeting a couple weeks ago. The great thing about Gail's departure, it's not a great thing, but the great thing that she leaves is the foundation, which has been really strong between the team, the staff at the organization is really strong. The events are strong. And I think we have a great legacy really to build on. And even hearing your remarks today, I was taking new notes about about all the great things that have been happening. And it leaves your successor, you're leaving the place better than you found it, which, the Boy Scout motto is leave the campsite cleaner than you found it. So the similar motto would be leave the organization stronger than you found it. And you've certainly done that, Gail, so we appreciate that. And I think we have a lot of great opportunities in the future to build on that. So just a couple things I want to kind of share with you. From an events point of view, the ARF does some great events, but we need to keep evolving them and making them very relevant in 2016 or 2017. And that's one of the first things Gail and I were talking about when we first sat down probably a year or two ago, is how do we evolve that? And so the reason I'm mentioning this to all of you is you're our members, and we need your input about how to make Rethink more relevant, how to keep growing with audience measurement, the regional work that we've been doing. How do we continue to help you do your jobs better and help make the case about research, which we all need to deal with in all of our different organizations. Everybody is under similar pressure, I imagine, in terms of the cost of research and the value of research and what that provides within the organization. And I really encourage you to share that with us and to think about ways that the ARF can help you make that case, because ideally that's what we want to do is make all of us a little bit smarter and all of our organizations a little smarter. And if the ARF continues to do that, which they have a very long history of doing, then we, in 2 years when whoever replaces me gets up, hopefully we will have continued to leave the place a little stronger. So, original research, Gail, really turbocharged from the point of view of what the ARF is doing, and I hope we continue to do that and continue to evolve that. I just wanted to call that out. The ARF has a really unique role. We're one of the few places where the buyers and the sellers and the advertisers all get together. And from my perspective, we really need to continue to do that and amplify that, because I'm a member of many different organizations, and often there's a little piece of this, a little piece of that, and the ARF provides a forum where we can all get together and talk about that. So I really want to make sure we continue to do that. I'm really focused on member services and value. So when I heard Gail's team talking about how we can continue to evolve the learning labs and the Journal of Advertising Research and the Knowledge Center, we have to continue to do that. And so that's a good to do for the coming years. And the education movement, which I think has been very strong, we have to continue that. When I look around the room and I see the people that are involved and how we have to get the next generation involved in the ARF and in the field of research, you can ask Richard Zakon about that. That's a very big touchstone of mine in terms of the passion that, the future of research, we need to leave it stronger. We need to build that pipeline. And as part of that, we have to improve the diversity of the people that are coming into research and make our organizations all reflect more what the rest of America looks like. Looking around the room today, I'd have to tell you that I'd give us a pretty low mark on that today. And that's no direct knock. It's just, I think Gail said, you got to call out when you're doing well and you got to call out when you're not. And we need to do a lot better in that world. And I think the ARF and all the other organizations I'm part of can do better in that regard. And so I really want to make sure we focus on that. And let's see, I just got to double check because she gave me new things to think about. So she said it, and I'm going to end with her words, which is how do we build that next generation of talent? And how do we use the network of the ARF to do that? And so my request of you is to be active and involved in this organization and share your feedback and volunteer to, host summer interns or programming or get involved with what we're doing, because the organization will only get stronger. You'll get some enrichment out of it. Hopefully your company sees an ROI on that as well. And then if we all do that in a year, we'll feel better as acting as one and making the organization stronger. And the overall impact that we have on our companies and on the bigger media and entertainment and advertising industry will only get bigger. So that really concludes what I have to say. I think I'm officially supposed to say something. So now I got to go back to the script. I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. And do we have that motion? I need a motion, literally. So moved. Do I have a second? We have a second. Let the record, whoever's keeping the record, show that. And I will say that the meeting has adjourned at 5 p.m. and I'm going to use Dave's gavel because it's open to say that we are adjourned. Please enjoy a cocktail, meet somebody new, and share feedback with me or one of the other board members or staff members. Thank you again.